You're listening to Prep Insider Radio with your hosts, Tommy Morris.
Good. This is nothing to do with State Creek baseball. I'm sorry, but have you seen a series of fortunate events?
Christian Pedersen.
I mean, I'm out here grinding. I'm putting in hours. I'm getting there at 5 a.m. to cheer on the water polo team at practice. I'm showing up to our basketball team. I'm showing up to our football games. We don't even have a football team, and I'm supporting that.
Noah Laxina.
And Noah Laxina's number 3 tip for Valentine's Day is...
chill, man. Things are going to be all right. All right? You don't want to force it. Let it happen. You're going to be all right.
And Bodie De Silva from Scorebook Live.
I mean, he brought basketball into that one. I got to give him 9 out of 10. I like that.
What's happening, sports fans? Christian Pedersen, welcoming you back to another episode of San Diego Prep Insider. I'm joined by Bodie De Silva from Scorebook Live. He is writing on some articles right now that you should always go check out. We got Noah Laxina, the man, the myth, the legend, the fashion icon. What are you wearing? You got some Lakers swag today.
I got the Lakers championship shirt on today. I'm feeling really purple and gold today, so.
That's a whole vibe now, apparently, with LeBron taking things over in Los Angeles. I do like that when we asked who are the Lakers fans of San Diego high school sports, we got a couple good answers there with Los Locos from Cathedral Catholic being the number one option, I thought. We got Tommy Morris joining us. He is out and about, so we hope that he is commuting and parked safely. We're happy to have him with us.
I am parking right now. You can watch me park. You can see me right now in the video. I am parked right now in the parking lot.
Did you get a haircut?
I did. That's where I can't tell you where. Illegal.
Deal.
Yeah, hard to get.
My mom cut my hair. I drove to my parents' house so my mom cut my hair. Fine.
Hey, I got the trim up from the fam. It happens.
Yeah.
It looks good,
I
man.
don't trust myself with it, and it's not bad. I mean, I don't trust myself with it, so whatever.
What are you eating?
Gum.
What are good flavors of gum? I feel like people fall into the spike. Go ahead, Noah. All right.
I just said that's it. Some gum.
Deal. We'll try to edit some of that up. Get you guys some audio out of that. We also got Colton Toll. It's got to be bubble. I feel like I was going to say people are either like spicy gum people or fruity gum people or mint gum people, but you don't cross over. You don't mix cultures there ever. We also got Colton Toll with us. He has shaved the mullet, so he is no longer the trucker ex-lineman type vibe thing. He's now just an adult and a college student. We appreciate him being here with us. Guys, I want to start by saying, I'm tired of schedule talk and season talk, and we don't know anything, so let's just say that we'll table that for a little while and say that let's talk about other stuff that has to do with, if a season happens, here's some hypotheticals. And I wanted to throw this out there. I saw a video of Qualcomm or SDCCU or Jack Murphy or whatever you call it being taken down brick by brick, concrete slab by concrete slab from a drone. It was just kind of interesting, and it got me thinking about all the games that were played there as CIF championships and where we're playing it now at Southwestern and then one home game at usually like Otay Ranch. And I was curious if you guys think that, is that the right place? I got laughed at last year when I suggested maybe we play just at home, home games at schools to try and promote more students being there. Just wanted to get your guys' thought, just kind of looking back on Qualcomm and how epic it was. If you think Southwestern is the right spot, or if there's any other options you think we should go with for finals.
I think that Southwestern's a good choice. It wouldn't hurt to find something more centrally located, like a USD would be great. I know the problem with that is it's kind of in season for them, and they have grass, so you don't really want to play 5 games in 2 days, on grass. But if they ever put a turf field in, I think that's perfect. Given the situation, I mean, look at San Diego State. They couldn't find anywhere to play except for Carson. So if you're looking for a stadium that's somewhere between 5,000 and 15,000 people, that's kind of the only option. Also, it has to be on turf because you don't want the grass to get all torn up. So I don't know where else you could put it, to be honest with you.
Well, so I guess I'm asking, should, whenever this new stadium gets completed, should this be where CIF looks to take championship games? Or are we happy with Southwestern? Bodie?
Yeah, no, Southwestern's really good, but I like that you brought that up. I've been thinking for a while now that would be the perfect choice. I think it's not as centrally located, but I think it's kind of the best you can really do. I think we assume that it's going to be kind of state of the art. You and I were talking before, kind of the technology that they're bringing to that area. So I would think that it's the right spot. The 1 year I did cover at Qualcomm, it was fun, and I know for the kids it was always a big stage. But I think the longer that time goes on with the Chargers being away, it probably doesn't mean as much. And obviously, the stadium won't be up anymore. But Southwestern's been great for what they've needed the last couple of years, and would have no problem if it's there for the future.
Yeah, I'll be really curious because I'm sure that there is an element of, like you said, it's state of the art. It's cool. It's new. It's something that probably would be very fun to be in. But if it's 35, 40,000 seats, can you really fill that efficiently to enjoy it the way that some of those nights at Southwestern get kind of popping, because that is a little bit smaller stadium. So it's really actually able to be filled up, get loud because it's in that bowl setting. So the sound just bounces from one side to the other. The experiences there are pretty epic, I think. Tommy, where would you play if you were wanting to go, or Colton? Either one of you want to chime in on this?
I wouldn't move it from Southwestern because of the size of the venue. The only time you ever run into a problem with there not being enough seats is in the open division game. Other than that, it fits everybody. So the problem there was at Qualcomm, because I never got to play there, but when I was playing, that was the destination. And then when I got out of college, I was still the destination, and I went to cover some of those games, and it kind of loses a little bit of it when you look in the stands and they're like 1/10 full. It's kind of weird. It makes it seem like a lot less epic than it really is to make it that far. So I like the atmosphere at Southwest because it does feel like the crowd's on top of you. It feels the feeling of sold out, standing room only. That kind of stuff is special. I will say this though, for the kids, it's cooler at the end of the day to say, oh, I got to play at the stadium. Well, they're gone now, so it doesn't really matter. The stadium the Chargers played in, or now it would be where the Aztecs play. Because I know there was still a special thing for kids who got to go to the finals for basketball and got to play at Viejas. That was really cool. So if you want, it depends what you want. If you want the long-term nostalgia of it, go ahead and go for the San Diego State's new stadium, whatever it ends up being called. But for the actual day of, it is much better to be at Southwest.
Colton?
Yeah, I agree with Tommy. I played at Southwestern a couple of times, and the atmosphere, it's amazing. Like, it's an amazing experience. But then, like, this new stadium is going to be super modern and super sick. And I think playing at a stadium like that at a high school age is also, like, an experience you can't beat. So I think either way, we're in a good position. But Southwestern isn't a bad, like, fallback to have on.
Yeah, it's a couple years off, and we hopefully will definitely have sports back by the time the new stadium is completed. I want to think that it'll come back well before that, so we got a couple years towards this. But I will be interested because I'm sure there's also monetary price differences in terms of getting the venue. But it'll be interesting what kind of an impact they think they can make at that site, because I'm sure with some of the bigger games, like you mentioned, Tommy, the open division game, you could not fill 35,000, but we could make San Diego more aware of what's going on, and we could do a little bit better job, I think, on filling some of these experiences, because we got the fandom out there. Bodie, you want to key us in a little bit on what Scorebook Live is up to in terms of their top 50? We've already had a couple of the San Diego teams make it onto the list. Can you talk a little bit about those that you've written up already?
Yeah, so we've been, for the past several weeks, close to a month, been working on our preseason top 50 from the state. We've been putting out one team per day. There's several San Diego teams in. So far, we've put out St. Augustine and Lincoln. And St. Augustine was at number 32 in the state. Lincoln's number 30 preseason. We got 3 more coming up. And really cool stuff, and really appreciate talking to all these coaches and different players, and just hearing what they've gone through in the off season and how they're adjusting with the different rules, because so many districts are different, in private school, public school, and how long they've been away from their coaches, or how long the coaches haven't seen the players in, or just if they've used the time. I know a couple coaches have talked about they feel like it's almost given their players a whole extra year of eligibility just with so many extra months to work out and get in top shape. And hopefully within the next month or two, get some clarity and maybe get somewhat of a season in.
It certainly will be interesting to think about what some of the 17 and 18-year-olds could potentially be like if they are healthy and get to grow for, 4, 5, 6 more months without that football contact beating them up. And they'll be like, stronger than they would have been during the season, faster than they would have been. It could be an explosive year. Wanted to close out with...
I'll go the other way with you on it. I'll go with the younger kids because a lot of these kids are still growing, especially when you're a freshman, sophomore. You're definitely still growing. So you're going to have some sophomores who are now the size they would have been as juniors, so they almost get like 2 junior seasons in.
I hadn't thought about that either.
I agree.
That's going to be nuts. Nuts! Wanted to close out with just kind of a hypothetical of if we get to a situation where we've sort of said maybe 5-game season, league season, whatever you want to call that, happening around Valentine's Day. Do you trust the math to do the playoffs on its own, or should there be an element of quality control selection committee process involved in handing out playoff spots in a 5-week season?
Yeah, that's a good point. I hadn't really thought of. I think there would be something to. It's like if everyone is the same, because some of these leagues are different size. So is someone going to play 2 league games? Is someone going to play all 5 league games? It's tough to say that way. I think it probably would be useful to have maybe a committee like they used to, which then you're going to get some people upset because everyone on the committee probably represents some school or some area or county. So if we get to that point, I'll be happy to just be playing and won't be as upset with whatever is chosen to select the playoffs. But it's definitely an interesting point.
I will say this: I think you trust the math and let everyone in, and then the cream rises to the top anyway. So the seeds don't matter as much when everyone's in. But I think, and it's also a way to get people extra games. If you do get stuck in a situation where it's a 5-game season, expand the playoffs a little bit, make it a little more possible for what ends up being like an 8-game season anyway. But I think if everyone gets in, there's really the complaining is kind of a moot point at that point. You know what I mean? Like the teams that are going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4 are probably going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4 no matter what. And the teams that are going to be, if you expand it all the way to 12, 8 through 12 are probably going to be that anyway. So it doesn't matter that much at that point. And it's probably the only fair way to do it. But then you got to factor in, well, how many weeks do you want these kids playing if they're supposed to have 2 different seasons, and you're basically taking away half their other season. So it's tough. And again, unless they want to add like a Division 1A, Division 1B thing, and then have the math decide that, and then select committee from there on, which actually wouldn't be the worst idea because then you don't run into the other season. You know what? I'm patenting that idea. Just like my idea last year for a 5th year or last week. Can I patent that one?
Sure. It is there.
Split the division in half. So more teams can make the playoffs and more teams can have games. Boom.
Boom. Just like that. Colton, how are you going to be able to follow that up?
I don't know. I kind of like that idea. Like an expanded division, that'd be kind of sick. That's actually a really good idea. I think that'd be kind of cool for the county to like experiment with that. I mean, it's a crazy year. Might as well experiment with something new,
Colton, I like you more and more.
That's all I'm going for.
Let's do one where we put all the evenly ranked teams in one playoff and all the odd ranked teams in another playoff. Let's do one where it's all the alphabetical A through N type split.
No, but
I'm with you, Tommy. It could be interesting.
Well, then no, because let's think about this. So let's say it's a shortened season anyway. Then you can do not a consolation bracket, but like one extra consolation game, so that instead of getting 5, you're guaranteed 7 games. Does that make any sense?
It does.
And I don't know, 5 just seems like not enough, and there needs to be a way to add a few more. And yeah, the teams that advance all the way to finals will get somewhat of a full season, but the rest won't. So this will kind of fix that.
And admittedly, my inspiration for this is watching the college football season right now. So it's not necessarily a parallel because they are only getting 4 teams in. Open division is a certain number of parallels to that, but All the other divisions are 12, 16 team type playoffs. So it's a large enough scenario that I think it's less of a worry of who's getting in and who's getting out, but more, who might get a bye, who might get a road game instead of a home game. Does that really matter? Just curious to see, if CIF is going to be willing to take maybe a step backwards, because I don't hate the math situation as it produces playoffs every year. We haven't really had a single busted up bracket where we're like, oh, some horrible option of a team won that division and that should not have won. I can't remember that happening in the last couple of years. So, do you need to instill people's confidence, or can you just say, hey, look, the math is going to work? We will get it. We'll get it right. We'll get it right. We'll get it right. Or like Tommy says, the cream rises to the crop. But yes, Tommy, patent that idea. Put that one down. Bodie, can we get an article written up on Scorebook Live announcing Tommy's patent? Just to the world, letting them know that he has staked his claim. Tommy has surveyed all of the content landscape, and he has decided to plant his flag firmly upon the continent of, let's split it into 2 divisions of playoffs.
Let's do it.
And I'll send you some of my headshots from like 2017 that you can put in the article too. So, like those.
I know you got to send in the headshots with the new haircut. You got to send in the headshots.
Oh yeah, the selfie.
The selfie. Alrighty, guys. Anything else before we get out of here? Exactly.
I'm good.
Perfect. Love it. No, dude,
I just solved all the world's problems in one podcast, so I'm pretty good.
You do. We get smarter and better every time because of you, man. I appreciate it, folks. We got an untold amount of time until high school sports technically return, but we're hoping that it is sooner rather than later. Until then, please stay safe, and we'll talk to you guys next week.